The Star Wars Battlefront open beta is over. How was it? What did we learn from it? And how is it compared to the original Battlefront games? Exactly 10 years ago, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was launched. It's one of the greatest Star Wars games of all time and a successor of my favorite PlayStation 2 game. And now, 10 years later, or 11 years later, depending from which Battlefront you're counting, we are finally getting something new. After a sad story around Free Radical's failed attempt to develop Star Wars Battlefront 3, I was thrilled when I heard DICE is working on a new Star Wars Battlefront game. When the beta was launched, I was about 450 kilometers away from my computer, so I first played it on a friend's PlayStation 4. The footage from that session you're seeing right now. And I must say, wow, for a console this is absolutely stunning graphics. And I assume the Xbox version is in no way worse than this. Because I was too impatient to wait till I'm home, I wanted to test if my laptop is able to play Star Wars Battlefront. And yes, it is. Though the graphics are not the best. But I can say it runs on a 4-year-old Dell Inspiron 70R with a small AMD laptop graphics card. Just a side note, when I'm playing World of Tanks it almost starts to burn. For some reason with Battlefront it's smooth running. And when I finally got home to my desktop, I unleashed the full power of modern computer graphics. Quite a difference, isn't it? The last thing about graphics, it looks amazing, of course, Frostbite engine. Playing Star Wars Battlefront, it's such a great view, it gave me a boner. I stopped several times during the battle just to admire the great view. It got the atmosphere of the movies almost perfectly right. I don't have to explain the gameplay, cause I guess you all have played a shooter before. So let's take a look at the differences. The first thing you'll notice when playing the game or watching gameplay footage, the guns do not reload. In the original Battlefront games you had to reload your blaster rifle. In the new game they overheat. I personally am not a fan of it cause I want to empty my magazine in a firefight, not suddenly have to stop because I'm overheating. The guns overheat way faster than you empty your magazine in Battlefront 1 or 2. And when they overheat, well, gosh darn it, you screwed up. I often miss the secondary armament like a small pistol. The next thing on the list, so far you spawn randomly on the map, or close to a companion if you've selected that option. In Battlefront 1 or 2, you selected a command post or a larger vehicle like an AT-AT or an ATTE as your spawn location. Also, you spawn right away. You don't select a class and you don't have to wait. There's only one player model which you can equip in the way you like. Guns, jetpacks and so on. And in the final version of the game you can even customize the visuals of your player model. Which brings us to the next point, the guns. In the beta we got the classics, but also a very powerful blaster pistol and a German MG34. Okay. Sorry, I meant a DLT-19. Well, it's no secret that the guns in Star Wars were put together from old World War II rifles. The Rebel gun uses the body of an STG-44 and so on. And the more unique thing is the sniper rifle, which comes as an upgrade and is a real projectile weapon, I guess. I suppose the biggest gameplay change, the vehicles are now power-ups. You run towards it and in a safe spot you activate it and fly right in as an X-Wing fighter or enter the battlefield as an AT-ST or take control of the mighty AT-AT, though you can only control its guns. In the original games, you could just enter a vehicle that spawned close to a command post. That always resulted in players running towards it and fighting over it. And now, the fights are for the power-up. Well, in the end it's the same shit. So far we could play 3 different maps, Sullust, Hoth and Tatooine. If we compare Hoth from Battlefront 1 or 2, yeah, it's a difference as day and night. But several things are recognizable. The hangar and the tunnels, for example. Well, of course, it's the same as in the movie. And I kinda like that you fight right underneath the boob nipple cannon. So, there's not much to compare here. It's just sweet as hell. So let's check the menu. The graphic options are pretty standard. I like that they put a field of view slider there. You can crank it up to 110 degrees, what makes a pretty good field of view. When we enter the main menu, we can select the multiplayer and the single player. In the beta, we could test 2 multiplayer modes. In Drop Zone, you had to secure drop pods. Whichever side could secure the most pods wins. Pretty simple but fun. No vehicles in this mode. The other mode was Walker Assault. It's basically the Battle of Hoth. If you've seen The Empire Strikes Back, you know what's going on. Stop those walkers. Or if you play as the Empire, take the walkers and fuck up some rebel scum. In this mode, we have vehicle support, obviously.
Not my best landing.
Hey, let's go!
The single-player mode brought us to Tatooine during the beta. Defend yourself against increasingly harder waves of Imperial attackers. A nice but standard single-player co-op mode.
It's a trap!
Though, really no replacement for a real campaign. I loved the campaign in both Battlefront games. Though, the one in Battlefront 1 was even more poorly made than the Battlefront 2 campaign. But I still liked to play them.
The success of the mission on Megiddo was something of a revelation for the men of the 501st. Suddenly, we realized that the Jedi could be fooled.
If we take a look at the single-player select screen, I think this is a new form of instant action, but that's just a guess. Looking at the multiplayer screen again, I suppose this here is the new substitute for the space battles or air battles around the Bespin platforms. I hope it is, cause that would be really sweet. I really enjoyed the dogfights in Battlefront 1 and 2. So here's the stuff we're not getting. No Clone Wars, no Clone Troopers, no Battle for Naboo, no stuff like fighting droidicas. Also, the Galactic Conquest mode is not existing in the new Star Wars Battlefront. Kinda sad, cause I always liked it, especially playing it against one another in split screen mode. Also, the biggest miss, we won't get such a great community. Cause it's a modern game from EA, that means no modding tools, no custom models, no custom maps, no custom add-ons. Just some pricey DLCs for stuff that was free and community made in the good old days. But I don't want to play the ranting grandpa, so can I recommend this game? Yes and no. No, cause it's going to be very costly if you want to play all maps which come with future DLCs, and the season pass is also already announced. No, cause you pay a hell lot of money for a multiplayer only shooter. And no, because, I guess this falls in the category no, but it can be fixed. No, because currently the game has still some balancing issues, and floating corpses in the air. And when a hero dies, he just sits there. And this creates the weird situation with everyone trying to teabag Luke Skywalker. But the developers said they're working on it. The most effective way to play was to take the sniper rifle, cause it took 90% of your health with one shot, and then finish the enemy off with your blaster. Effective, but it didn't really feel Stormtrooper-like. So to the yes section. Yes, cause it's freaking amazing. It looks gorgeous. Yes, cause it works fine and a good Star Wars shooter was long overdue. And yes, because it's freaking Star Wars. And I know this is fanboy talk now, but even though Star Wars is Disney shit now, I still got a lot of sympathy for it. So for me it's an absolute yes. And I guess I will buy it. I won't pre-order it, but I will get it. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Leave your opinion about the Star Wars Battlefront reboot in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and as always, goodbye and guten Tag.